Hey guys, I thought I'd do a review on this drill press. I bought this shortly after Christmas 2015. It's in January 2016 now. Had a chance to kind of play with it a bit and get a feel for it and decide whether I liked it or not. Um, I did notice this drill press in the store and I got to check it out. I came home and being a slightly obsessed YouTuber, I went looking for info on this drill press and really found none. None. I couldn't find, all the only information I could find online was a couple very vague, not even reviews, just, hey, does anybody know about these things? And then just the information on the manufacturer's website. So I thought, throw a review up. It was, I took a leap of faith, and now I'll maybe save someone the trouble of having to take that leap of faith next time, or I guess that's faith in my review, I guess. But let's start with the drill press. It's General International. I have a few General International tools. My table saw is General International. General, their parent company, used to manufacture tools in Canada. They've since, they don't produce anything in Canada anymore. But I've got one of their Canadian manufactured joiners, and it's an absolute pleasure to use. Probably the highest quality tool in my shop. And I have some good tools. That's the best one though. But the drill press, which is right up there, General International, it is offshore made. It's not your run-of-the-mill overseas drill press. The one I replaced was your kind of generic overseas drill press. They were sold. Mine was a House of Tools brand, but they were manufactured by, or they were rebranded and marketed by many companies. It was a 17-inch. This is also a 17-inch. It was light duty, half-horse motor, half-inch chuck. Shook like mad. Vibrated, noisy. Just fit and finish wasn't good. Sticky spots on the quill. It just wasn't the fit and finish. The quality wasn't there. I mean, you punch holes in wood all day, but it just wasn't a real inspiring drill press, and I wasn't terribly happy with it. I had a hard time. I do use some large Forstner bits mostly in my drill press, 2.5 to 3.5 inch sort of thing, and mostly in hardwood. And that drill press wasn't up to it. The chuck was garbage, and I put an aftermarket, a much better chuck on it, and it just wasn't up to the task. So I got a chance to buy this, got it on a stinking good deal from a store out here in Western Canada called KMS. They had it on sale after Christmas, and I think it's typically around the $1,000 mark, which I wouldn't have spent that much on it. $1,000 for drill press. If I'm dumping $1,000, I'll be buying a milling machine. But I got it all in, out the door with a few other little things for $675 or $680 or something Canadian. So that was a hell of a good deal. I think it's a lot of machine for the dollar, and we'll go over kind of what I like about it. So like I said, manufacturers General International, sheet metal, like stamped sheet metal lid on the drive cover. From here though, this contoured piece here, all cast, the whole headstock's cast. So it is an offshore produced drill press, but the best one I've got my hands on so far for quality and fit and finish and everything. It's their kind of General International does market some bigger machines, but I got to check out up to a 22-inch, I believe was the biggest one I got to actually put my hands on and check out. And the fit and finish, robustness, this was the nicest machine. And it wasn't dollar for dollar. This was the nicest machine they had. It's burly, like I said. The headstock was crazy heavy. My old drill press, when I assembled it, I hoisted the headstock and motor up and put it on the column myself, and took it apart by myself when I sold it, because the guy told me he was coming to pick it up in a car. So this one, no way. 2 guys for sure to get this. Even you assemble it on the ground and stand it up, still, unless you've got some lifting assistance, you're in for it. It's a 1-horse motor, which is, I mean, I'll never need more power than that. That's excessive, I think, for my needs. I'm not trying to drill 1.5-inch holes in steel plate with this machine. I do a bit of hobby metal work. I've got a little lathe, and I do play around with that a bit, model engines sort of stuff. So I will be metalworking with this a little bit, but lighter stuff. Like I said, the bulk of the work this machine will do will be in woodworking projects. Yeah, like I said, 17-inch drill press, 1-horse motor. The selling feature on this was it was a heavier unit, heavier machine than the other drill presses I was checking out, and but the selling feature was 6-inch stroke. So standard 17, 15, 16, 17-inch drill press will have 4-inch stroke sort of thing. You can see that quill gets out there, and am I hitting the stop? No, that's the max travel there. So that's a long ways to go. I did find quite regularly in my projects, plowing out mortises and that with my my old drill press that I was maxing out, punching out. There goes my heater. Maxing out my stroke, trying to through mortises on table legs was the last project I did, and it wasn't until I'd already started drilling in that leg before I realized I didn't have enough punch to get through it. So I should never have that issue with this one. I haven't found a drill press aside from, I think, even when I looked at some of the big monsters that had more stroke than this. Aside from going with a big radial drill press or something, but I mean, that's ridiculous for what I do for woodworking and all that. Yeah, so that was the selling feature, and it has proven to be great big wheel here on the quill handle. So lots of leverage when you're leaning on. I did Morris chair recently, and I punched out all the mortises for that with this drill press, and having that extra leverage was nice, leaning on it through that layout. So what was the rest? I guess how it arrived. I did buy it. It was in a box. I was able to check the one out on the floor in the store, but that wasn't for sale. And to be honest with you, I'd rather bring it home and kind of pick through it, check it out as I assemble it. So it was all covered in that brown cosmoline, weasel snot, whatever you want to call it. All the exposed metal parts: the table, the column, the rack, the exposed metal surface on the foot. The quill, the chuck were all bathed in that stuff. So, 10 or 15 minutes, we laid out all the parts on my bench and cleaned them up with Varsol. No problem, be that easy. The column standard fare, the rack is a rack and pinion for raising and lowering the column. The handle is a bit more substantial, sticks out to the side quite a bit further than it did on my old drill press. And I thought that was going to be a pain. I'm in a small shop and every bit of space is important. But what turns out is that it gets you out past the table. And in my old drill press, that little crank was in here, and every time you come past the table, whack, you get your knuckles on here, so you weren't paying attention. So this is nice, and it gives you that extra leverage. I plan to build an auxiliary table on this. It's probably my next project. And this just gives you, it's a longer crank, so it gives you more crank to raise that heavy table, and it'll stick out past the table better. So I like that. It comes with standard fare. Like I've got a rear magnet on the side on this side of the headstock, the drift for driving the chuck out. I'll keep that over there so I don't lose it. Same thing with the chuck key. There's a holder here that the chuck key can snap into, but it's too tight for this chuck, and spend more time trying to weasel it in there than it takes to use. So you actually use the chuck. So another rare earth magnet. It's a monster chuck key. You see there's some scale there in my hand. I got pretty decent sized hands. And so it fills it. You can really lean on it. Of course, it's that big because this chuck, or this drill press comes with a 3/4 inch chuck. And it's a nice chuck. It's not a Jacobs Super chuck by any means. It's a $350 or $400 chuck. So, but it is a good chuck. Run out. It's this drill press spindle taper is the same as the headstock taper in my lathe, and I know my lathe to be pretty tight. Run out on the headstock is I don't own any measuring tools that can measure precisely enough to pick up any run out on that headstock. So I chucked the drill chuck up in the lathe, and I grabbed a 1/2 inch gauge pin in the chuck and rolled it over. I got about 1.5 thou run out, maybe a 1/2 inch out from the chuck nose. So that's pretty good. It's an offshore chuck. It's a good chuck. It's monstrous. It grabs good. The jaws are. I haven't had anything slip yet. And I don't have to put any obscene amount of torque on that, even though I could with that chuck key. But it's good. It's a really good chuck, or it's a good chuck. It doesn't grab the small drill bits. It's because it's got such large capacity, it sacrifices some of the low end capacity. I think it will grab down to an 1/8 inch bit, but I rarely put bits that small on my drill press. And in the occasion that I do have a keyless chuck that will go down to nothing. It's a 1/2 inch chuck, but it'll grab down to my smallest numbered bit. So, and this is an offshore keyless chuck. I've got an Albright or Albrecht or Albright, however you choose to say it, chuck that I use on just for my drill press, or for my lathe. But so this is 5/8 capacity chuck, and it'll grab right down to. It'll close right up. So I mean, if I do have to grab some small stuff or chuck up some small stuff, or if I'm doing an operation that requires a lot of bit changes, pop a hole, countersink it sort of thing, or quick bit changes, it's nice. If you guys haven't tried one of these keyless, heavy-duty keyless chucks, they're awesome. Everything's super quick. And even just with your hand pressure, you can get a spanner on there. It comes, mine came with a little spanner, but you don't need it. You just grab that top coat of one hand and the chuck body the other, and it's not spinning. Especially in wood, but I mean even in metal, they just don't spin. My Albright did. It was an old chuck I bought on eBay. The jaws are worn out. I replaced the jaws. That thing, the harder you twist them, the harder they grab, it seems. So they're great. Anyway, enough of the sales pitch on the keyless chuck. So this chuck is great. You just anything below an 1/8 inch bit, I think. It's limited down in the lower range. Yeah, chuck guard. I'm not going to show you the rest of my tools in my shop, but I'm pretty bad for keeping guards on tools. And because as soon as they get in the way, I chuck them and then they never go back on, or I take them off and they never go back on again. So, but this one so far, I've used this drill press a fair bit since Christmas, and it's so easy to flip out of the way that and flip back down that I haven't been moved to pull it out yet. It's tucked up, so you can't grab the chuck, you can't get your hand in the chuck, you can beat it, it's tough. One feature this I'll never use is you can back these thumb screws off and lower the outer shield of the chuck guard down lower to your work. I'll never use that, but at least this can keep your hand away from the chuck. You imagine those the rack on the periphery of the chuck there, do a number on your hand if you ever got into it. But yeah, so far it seems non-intrusive and easy to use, so if it's easy to use, I'll use it. Start and stop is your standard big paddle switch. It's big, it's up front, it's easy to get to, it's a user-friendly machine. Fit and finish is excellent on the whole machine. There was some paint, overspray on the table. I think they paint the raw casting, then they mill off the surface, so there was some paint in the grooves, but anyway, that cleaned up easy. The column's good. This laser pointer, they're so great. It was free with the purchase of the drill press. I forget where the on switch is. There it is. It was free and it was worth every penny. It's just great, except for you have to reset it for every table height and every thickness of workpiece. I suppose it might be useful if you're doing repetitive drilling a whole bunch of holes in the same size part over and over again. It could help get lined up, but I'm not running a production shop, so yeah. If you're thinking of buying one, it's good and shiny, and I don't know. I'll never have to worry about replacing the batteries because I'll never use a stupid thing. So yeah. So that's my drill press. General International Model 75-260 M1, extended stroke, 17-inch drill press, 1 horsepower motor, 6 inches of stroke. It's heavy, it doesn't vibrate at all, it runs smooth, it runs true. It's got gobs of power, and yeah, it's a pleasure to use. I say, guys, if you get an opportunity, if you're looking for a drill press and you get an opportunity to get your hands on one of these, it's just a cut above the rest of the 17-inch drill presses. You can get into the ultra premium level, ultra high-end line machines, but you can put this up against that. It runs straight and true, it runs smooth, and it's got tons of power. So what else do you need in a drill press? Anyway, guys, that's it. I hope this helps someone. See you later, guys. Bye.